Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shaima coming to you from Germany. One of the most common questions I am asked on a daily basis is how to learn German quickly. So before I even start with the tips, I want to mention that every person is different. So one person might be able to memorize stuff more easily than the second person. So you should keep in mind that it really depends on the individual as well. But throughout my teaching journey, I have some tried and tested tips which I think might be helpful and useful for you. So today this video is in this video I thought I'll give you 11 tips how you can learn German fast or how you can improve your language skills. So let's start with the video. Starting with the tips, my first tip has to be building a better vocabulary. In order to speak a language, you need to know a certain number of words. Because if you know more words, you will also be able to understand better. You will also be able to speak better. Yes, so don't forget a language is nothing else than actually a set of words. The more words you know, the larger your vocabulary is, the easier it is for you to speak and understand that language. My second tip also has to do something with words, which is learn everyday words because it is a lot easier to memorize everyday words because you use them more frequently. If you use a word hardly maybe once in a while, it will be a lot more difficult to memorize that word. So begin with the words you need more often. Maybe start with the words, for example, to eat or to drink, or maybe a cup or coffee or tea, because these words you use them on a daily basis. So if you use a word on a daily basis, it is a lot more easier to memorize that word than a word which is hardly used in the routine. My third tip has to be listen to German podcast. I think interesting thing about podcast is that they are usually conversations. So you are more likely to learn words that are used more frequently in day-to-day conversations. So with listening to podcasts, you can actually learn how certain words are used, in which context they are used, the tone of the words. So that's why I think listening to a podcast does help learn any language very fastly. My fourth tip is to listen to German music, and this tip is again some has something to do with the listening, because listening I think is a fundamental part of language learning, because listening helps you have a basic understanding of the language, and it even helps you with learning the pronunciation. When talking about German in particular, it is very important that you pay a lot of attention to your pronunciation, because there are a lot of words in German, they are written the same way and there is nothing different, just the pronunciation. If you pronounce them slightly differently, they mean something completely different. So that's why I think listening to German music can also help get a feeling of the language and also to improve your pronunciation. My next tip is to watch TV shows in German. Now you're not only listening, but you're also visualizing the stuff which is being said. So it is a lot easier to learn new words and also to learn the pronunciation and the tone of the word. So I think watching TV shows in German can be a very useful tip if you are learning the language. And watch something which you like, because it should not be boring. And if you are watching something which interests you, it is a lot likely that you remember some words rather than watching something, a documentary or maybe some news or something. It is a lot easier for you to grasp on new vocabulary if you are interested in watching that particular thing. So watch your favorite TV shows or maybe TV series in German. My next tip is read books, and I cannot stress how important it is to read books while learning a new language, because there is, I don't think so there is any other medium out there where you can learn or build more vocabulary than reading books. So you may read stories or any other books which you like, but I would say that books should be read out loud. With that, you are using three different senses at the same time. Not only are you seeing the words, but you're also speaking them, and at the same time, you are also listening the same words. So you are using your eyes, your tongue, your eyes because you're seeing the word, your tongue because you're speaking it out, you are reading the book loud, and your ears while you're listening at the same time. So I think this is one of the best tips, that read the books, and with that you can actually build a lot larger vocabulary. Another tip which I would like to give you is to set goals. You should be aware that fluency takes years, so be realistic when setting goals for yourself. Make a schedule and stick with it. Write down all your goals and track your process. And I would also suggest you to ask yourself why you're learning that particular language, or why you're learning German, for instance. Is it just because you have to or you want to? So set yourself goals, and I think it really helps you. And stay realistic, be realistic. So it really helps people to learn the language fast. Another tip is to learn the verb list by heart, because the sentence is not complete without a verb. So why not start learning all the verbs in that particular language, or when talking about German, get yourself the verb list and learn them by heart. And you already know half of the most commonly used words. Another tip is don't worry too much about grammar. It is important, but later on, because I have seen so many students who have a very hard time with the grammar in the first place. So I will say start yourself by building your vocabulary and getting a feel of the language, getting a basic understanding how it works, and then work yourself out towards grammar. And I think over the period of time, when you have learned the words, when you have done your listening, you get a feel of the language, and it is a lot easier to then learn or start learning the grammar than starting with grammar in the first place. So my tip is don't worry too much about the grammar in the first place, but before getting yourself getting yourself tensed with grammar, you should first see to it that you learn enough words and you do your listening. I would also suggest when learning a new language, rather than learning one word, it is a lot easier to learn phrases, because if you learn a phrase, you are learning more words at the same time. So it is a lot easier to then get the feeling of the language as well as to build your vocabulary. My last tip has to be make flashcards. I think flashcards can be very, very helpful, not only when you are learning a new language, but when you are learning anything new, any new subject, anything which interests you, anything new. It is very helpful to memorize that thing. On one side, you write the word in your mother language, and on the other side, you write the German word. So the best part about flashcards is you can carry them around. They are a lot easier to carry around rather than carrying the whole book. And just do a quick check then and now if you have memorized the word. And I think it is one of the best things you can do. This was it for today. That was it for today. Thank you so much for staying with me. If you liked the video, please like and share it with your family and friends. And if there are any comments or suggestions, please feel free and leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I will be very thankful if you did so. And I'll see you in next video talking about something else. Till then, take care. Bye bye.